Going live early to this week. It's a Monday Madness here at After Hours. I created Species Nutrition with one mission in mind: to provide bodybuilders and serious athletes with no-nonsense supplements that work. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution.
It just came out! Look at that!
I love it!
Welcome back to another exciting episode of After Hours with the Whack Pack. We are live here on a Monday because I'm busy tomorrow, so I figured we'd get Monday. Plus, next week is the Olympia week. People are making noise in the background already. Larry's eating rice cakes. Larry, what are you doing? The Olympia? Well, what's with the rice cakes while I'm doing my intro here?
Just something to get in.
Never munch. You don't munch when we're talking. You got to get food that doesn't make noise when we're doing the show.
Larry,
Craig, what's up?
What's going on, baby? Go on,
I got to put my glasses on. I got to be like you. I got to eyes.
How's everybody?
Yeah. Wow, you guys are like half asleep today. What's going on? It must be Monday.
Yeah.
I'm awake.
Everyone's making noise. What's going on over there?
No noise here.
How do I sound? I'm using a microphone today.
Sounds loud.
You sound well rested.
It sounds
I think
loud.
it's I think it's your microphone that sucks. I mean, Larry's going to drive it. Larry, I'm going to mute you if you're going to chew in that rice cake. All right. Mute yourself until you're ready to talk. There's John.
Are we better,
John,
Dave? Is this better?
John, what's the policy on munching on rice cakes while we're doing the show?
The worst food to eat.
John, we can't hear you. Your microphone's worse than everyone's. Nope, not working.
Muted. Mute.
Not working.
This is what happens when we do Mondays.
John's got the nicest setup of everyone, too. That's the funny thing, you know. And he can't get it to work.
John's setup has evolved.
No, I like his setup. You look like a professional.
Yeah. You're good.
Is that
now.
good? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Hello. Test 1 2.
Yeah.
You're good.
Okay.
You're good.
Test, Primo, 1 2, Masterone, 1 2.
Now, my question, John, to you was, what's our policy on munching on rice cakes while you're doing a show?
As long as you don't spit into the camera lens,
No.
I think it's.
Mr. G used to spit. Remember that microphone?
Oh my God! More food would come out of his mouth than that stayed in.
He wasn't even eating anything. That was the funny thing. He spit.
It was from 2 hours ago.
He had his. We were in studio. He had the Shure microphone with the little protector on it. That thing was covered. It looked like I don't even know what it looked like. It was disgusting.
It was so gross. It was the grossest thing.
It looked like a petri dish that was growing like bacterial cultures on it. You know.
For a while there,
he was inoculating it.
The cookie crumbles on the sponge.
Yeah.
Well,
yes, it was like.
He had so many teeth removed that it's left, like passages for particles to come out until he got that under control. It was dangerous to talk to him. I mean, you had to always angle yourself to the side because,
Yeah, no, Greg's right. Italians, we spit when we talk, but Mr. G has a different problem. You're right. He's missing teeth, so the saliva had passageways to get out of.
Exactly.
In very high amounts too.
We spit, we pick our nose, we do all that shit.
What was it? Robbie Smalls used to always say you're either a flicker or a what was the
Flicker.
it was either
Flicker
an
or
what?
liquor.
It's like you're an
wait,
eater or a flicker.
You're
But
talking
there was
about
a,
burglars. Never mind.
God.
yeah.
Bobby's
Were you
great. He's nuts. I love him.
Were you a flicker, Greg, or were you an eater?
No, I just a wiper.
Or you could be a sticker, one of those that stick 'em.
You pick your nose, you pack the guy in the back. What's going on?
Oh, you're horrible.
Dave, I just sent you pictures as to why I was late.
Oh,
I got a guy coming to take care of that. Well, I mean, a guy, a crew. Man, we
holy
had
shit!
yeah, this storm was no joke.
It's
It's funny, 'cause I had the potential to get slaughtered. The storm missed us, kind of like, and then it hit you guys.
Man, did it hit? But Armin was sailing into it last week, weren't you?
Yeah. It was a couple choppy days. My wife was really sick one day, so it wasn't the best. It wasn't the best weather. A couple of the stops were raining, so but it was still a good vacation, good getaway. But
She was like sick, not seasick from the boat, sick. Armand?
yeah, from the boat. Yeah, usually you don't feel the boat moving. But
That's right. Yeah, so she did. So
yeah.
Greg's right, Greg. Greg.
Yeah. Usually you don't feel the boat moving.
Greg. We haven't gone on the boat yet.
no
But
boat.
it was pretty choppy, and that the ship we went on is huge. When we it was 5,500 people. When we port, there's other ships there, and it's the biggest ship out there. But I think next time we're going to go on Virgin, because this one had a little too many, it was a lot of kids. It was not a lot of kids, some kids, and then but yeah, I'm going to try Virgin next time.
That's supposed to be more geared towards adults. The Virgin.
Yeah.
They even have topless sunbathing on the boat.
Let me ask you guys a question about this whole vacation thing, because first of all, if we did a fitness cruise, it would be cool because we're all on one boat, so it's kind of like we're hanging out. But when you go on vacation alone, like with a significant other or whatever, or whoever, and I don't know if the boat would be necessarily the best place to go. I think that why wouldn't you go to like a destination place, Armand, like and hang out at the beach and and that that kind of stuff.
I get bored at destination places because you're just like stuck at the beach. I like the ship because there's stuff to do. There's a good gym there. There's food you can eat whenever you want. I mean, there's shows. There's comedy shows. I like being on the ocean.
You can go to Vegas and get all that same exact stuff at any resort hotel there.
Nah, it's just different. I just love them. Those are my favorite vacations out of all the trips I ever take. Those are just my favorite. I'm just either you're a cruiser or not. Either you love them or don't.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm okay. I like the cruises, but I think that my best vacations, I think, were like Hawaii, Vegas.
Yeah.
I had a bad time in Vegas. There's so much to do there. It's like Disneyland for adults. And I haven't been there in a while, which is why I'm really kind of excited for next week when the Olympia comes up. But I don't know why people have to go like, I don't know. Boats just seem like there's a lot of things that can, go wrong.
You're starting to sound like Greg.
No, there's definitely.
Greg's wearing off on you.
No, they do. They're. I mean, I've been to Hawaii twice. It's funny the 2 times I went there, it was this guy literally. I think I told y'all before. He literally flew all the bodybuilders out there. He was a fruit crusher guy. He would fly us out there, and he liked to watch us crush fruit. I mean, literally all the bodybuilders like Dan Deck. I mean, all the bodybuilders. Dave.
Is that Ulrich?
No, not Ulrich. This was just some random guy. His dad was a judge on the island in Honolulu, and during that time, like you were coaching me around like the 2007 to 11 range. He was literally flying like all the bodybuilders out there he liked, and he would pay you to just watch you crush fruit, like crush an apple, rip apart a watermelon, and he would pay really, really good money.
Wait, was it like Gallagher with the sledgehammer and the watermelon like that? or fruit crushing, you mean
With your
something
hand, I guess.
else?
Like using your hand, like
Oh,
but it's really hard to crush an apple. But that was his obsession, and he didn't want anything else. And before I went out there the first time, he was like, "Yeah, this is what I want." And I was like, "Well, I had a girlfriend at the time." I was like, "Well, I want to bring her." He's like, "Yeah, you can bring her, and we get you a hotel." And so he sent me $5,000 before I even went out there. He sent me $1,000 a week while we chatted, so I made sure he was a legit. Then I went out there. He took us both shopping. He bought our Louis Vuitton purses. I mean, he spoiled us. We had a beautiful.
And all you had to do is crush his fruit.
Yeah.
So-
Went to
So
dinner
that's
with him.
not
a
a
couple
metaphor
times.
for anything.
He wanted him to step on his balls, basically,
I
John.
just want to make sure that the fruit is not a metaphor for something else. You're talking
No,
like
literally, he
peaches
would.
and apples and shit like that. I mean, not like a guy who's a little soft in the loafers. Not
Yeah, he was obsessed with like the
Fuck
apple,
all
like
over
an apple, because
Yes.
to crush an apple with your hand is extremely hard. So
No,
I couldn't do it.
Granny
I had
Smith apple. The Granny Smith.
Jimmy the
apple
Bull could do
is
that, John, easily.
easy. Except
or rip apart a melon or explode a Coke can, but you had to put a towel around the Coke can because you cut your hand on aluminum. That kind of stuff he was just obsessed with, and you would literally just go and he would get a hotel where you were staying, and I would tell my girlfriend, "Yeah, I'm going to crush it." You're like, "Okay, whatever." Go over there literally for 30 minutes, and well, yeah, of course, but you would crush your fruit, and that was literally it. He didn't want you to flex. He didn't want to touch your muscles, any of that. I mean, all the bodybuilders went out there. Like literally every top national guy at that time was the decent ones that he was found attractive.
I heard Kai Green did something. Is this what he did with the grapefruit?
No, he
this
didn't.
has-
That was the grapefruit.
No,
This
he
has nothing
fucked
to
the
do.
grapefruit. There's a big difference in that. Yeah.
No,
Now,
this
Armin,
has
is
nothing
the
to
guy
do.
there watching you? Is he like got his clothes on, or is he naked?
Yeah, no, he got his clothes on. He's just like excited watching you crush the fruit. That was
John,
literally
would that be
it
fucked
was
up if he's
literally
naked
it.
jerking
And
off while you're crushing fruit?
Bro,
No.
I don't put anything past anybody at this point, and
No.
especially in our fucking industry.
that was literally it. And then I went to Hawaii twice with him, and then we met in Vegas a couple times too. The whole thing, the same deal. But so we met like 4 times, and he would pay like great money, and it was just kind of like
there
one
was
of
some
those things.
shows, John, that like to see women crush watermelons with their thighs. I think.
Yeah,
That was a big
That's a big-
fetish, I think, for a while.
yeah, that was.
Like I
It's
said
so
before,
good.
Gallagher made a great living off it on stage, whacking them with sledgehammers with the.
No. They want
But
these
now-
girls to do it with their thighs, John.
That makes sense. But
There
now,
was
Armin,
some-
did he bring his own fruit, or was it room service?
he would get the biggest, like hardest apples to crush. So you would have to like you would have to sneak away and like put it in the microwave a little bit for like a few seconds so you could actually crush it, because I couldn't crush these apples because he was
You know
the
what, Greg?
hardest.
I don't mean to
apples.
interrupt you. Greg is posting that he's bored, but John, in 3 seconds, if some guy offered Greg $1,000 to crush a fucking apple with his fucking penis, he would be whacking that fucking fruit in 2 seconds for that money.
Dude, why taking so long?
Money talks.
And then
I would fuck it. I would fuck a grapefruit. I would.
he flew my friends out. He flew my friends out before, like 1 year, my friend, that's a bodybuilder, he wanted to meet too. He was supposed to fly out, and the night before, my friend goes and gets drunk, that does a bunch of drugs, gets into a fight with his ex-girlfriend's new boyfriend. He could fight too, but he like threw a punch, got knocked out, fell in the pool, smashed his head. So I'm at the airport, and I'm like, where is he? So I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to Hawaii by myself, because this was like one of my best friends. His name's John Kirby. So we were going to have a cool vacation, because you only hang out with him a little bit, because he's really he's well known on the island because his dad's a judge. So he doesn't want to be like seen around a lot with you. He literally just wants to meet you a couple times during your stay.
You
And do this whole
watching you crushing
thing.
fruit, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Where does this come from? I mean, like, I mean, are these people got that much money that they're willing to do this?
It might come from
shit?
Gallagher, John.
I mean, this is
He
nuts.
did. Yeah, he did. But that was, I mean, that was,
John,
you know,
people have these weird fetishes. You ever see these fetishes where these people get off on balloons? I mean, there's
Everything. People popping.
weird.
There's all kinds
Man,
of.
I must live a
crap.
sheltered freaking life.
I still have people contact me all the time. Like, hey, do you still do muscle worship? Hey, I'm in Dallas. Could you know how much to hang out and
What's
flex?
the
And,
response?
you know,
So
I don't
you get all-
respond.
Does this all come from like
I'm-
social media? I mean, how do you?
Yeah, Instagram. Like they're like, oh my gosh, you know.
To Greg, Armand,
Yeah,
refer
like-
to Greg.
refer
He
them
needs
to
some.
Greg.
Well,
The
they
shit
like
you
who
won't
they
do.
like, so they're going to message who they want to message. You know what I mean? Like, they're a fan.
Armand and mask on his head. That's all.
Yeah, well,
Hey.
yeah. I mean, if somebody writes to you and says, "I want you to change the oil in my Jeep while you're naked with, pelicans picking French fries out from between your toes," I can understand you not wanting to do that. But Greg, refer him to Greg. All the shit you don't want to do, refer to Greg. Say, look, I know it's
No,
not
no,
me, he's
they-
a little
they
shorter than me,
message-
he wears glasses, but he'll do that shit. If you want
These
to
guys
do
have-
money, fun.
He'll do
These
it.
guys have specific people
Greg's
like they're
not
fans
blue,
of.
no. Greg's
He
not blue.
obviously likes.
I have strident glutes. I could probably
That's right. Tell him that.
squeeze those apples between my cheeks. So if you guys out there want to spend some shuttle,
They'll reach
Greg
out
will
to
do
you.
an enema for you too, if
Are
you
you
want.
wearing
You know?
those?
I'm just saying, Armin, if you need to pass off the shit you won't do, I mean, Greg will do anything. So.
I'll do it.
No, like I said, like they're literally they're obsessed and a total fan of yours. Like to this day, I still get guys that were fans of mine when I was competing, still wanting to meet up and do all this stuff. I'm like, I'm 40 and I have a family now and kids. I'm not about to go to someone's hotel and do a posing session
Right.
at 40 years old.
Now,
You know,
Now, John,
I mean,
speaking of sessions, you remember when we would go to the Arnold Classic every year, our good friend Tazzy Cologne the show would be over. She'd be, coming back. And I'm like, Taz, you want to go out and eat with us? No, I'm going to work now.
Yeah, no, we cross in the lobby. We're coming in from eating, and she's heading out. And we all like, where are you going? Because I'm going to work.
She's going to go through all these weird fetish, sessions with these guys.
Yeah.
And these girls make a lot of people make a lot of money doing it.
Well, they're
And
all
this-
in town. That's the thing. That's
Yeah,
a very
yeah.
convenient,
That's what I'm
meeting
saying.
spot.
So with the Olympia coming up next week, I'm assuming that probably there'll be a lot of schmoey people in town. Greg, maybe you should take a trip to Vegas.
Dave, I talk to a lot of bodybuilders like currently that are on a top level, and
Right.
a lot of them don't get messages like that. But they're not.
Really?
I'm trying to say this in a nice way. They're not good looking at all. They're really ugly bodybuilders. So, well, you know what I mean. So the ones I've asked that they're.
I'm
They don't
sure
have that-
Bumster gets a million fucking people asking him to do weird. Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure he does. But the ones I've spoken to, I'm not going to name names, but they're like, no, I never get messages like that. But they're not the most attractive. I'm not saying, oh, I'm so hot or something like this. I'm just
sounds
saying,
like Greg's got a shot now.
yeah.
No,
no.
you weren't listening to what he said, John.
I did Ulrich's site and all that. So a lot of the guys that did Ulrich's site,
Thank you,
had
Leonardo, for the $5.
had a big fan base from that site. So we got a lot of people from, a huge fan base from Ulrich's. People like Greg, I met you at one of Ulrich's parties. That party, that same party, I met numerous guys that night. Was like, oh my gosh, I was like 23 when I met you, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm one of your biggest fans, and blah blah blah. I'm like, a fan of what? And I'm like, I didn't have no clue. Like I even had fans at that age. That's when I just started getting in the magazines. They're like, yeah, here's my card. I'll pay you this much money to do this and this and this. I'm like, okay. And then that's when I started. And Dave, I would tell Dave the stories at the time too. Like, yeah, I'm about to go, this room and pose, and I'll be back, and so you can check on me and this and that. So, but I don't think a lot of it was on today anymore. I don't hear of the guys doing that.
You know who Ulrich loved? He loved Derek Anthony.
I was there.
Yeah.
I was at his party with Derek Anthony. My girlfriend-
Derek was the first guy I ever heard who mentioned Ulrich's name, and Ulrich actually flew him out to Hawaii. I did a guest posing out there, and Derek's like, "Oh, I'm going to Hawaii too." I'm like, "You are? For what?" He goes, "I'm doing pictures with Ulrich." I'm like, "Oh, who's Ulrich?" You know,
Yeah,
but
he liked Chris Jalali a lot too. He flew Chris Jalali a lot there. I would shoot with him every year. I shot with him probably at least 8 times, and he was always very generous. And he would pay very well. He would put you up and he put have limos. I mean, he put you up really. He paid very well and put you up nicely.
Yeah.
Well, good old days.
Yeah. Well,
I like Ulrich. He's a good man.
did you ever get any offers, John, for the schmo stuff when you were in your heyday?
It's testament to how uninspiring I must have been to people, because I have never gotten.
You weren't freaky enough, John. That's why.
What's that?
You weren't freaky enough looking. That's why.
Like I'm saying, there's obviously something.
You never shot for those certain websites like Ulrich's, or I don't know if you guys remember Jimmy Z.
Right, but before Ulrich, there was a lot of schmo stuff at Venice Golds, and John was there. But I don't think John was like big and freaky enough for those weird
I wasn't
guys,
anything, and I never got. People, guys would tell me about this stuff with buying the underwear and the posing shorts.
I think if you were on American Muscle Magazine as the muscle chef, you would have got some action, but evidently not.
Just goes to show you, like I said, how uninspiring my.
Did you not do any of those, Dave? Did you not get those? Did you not do any of those things, Dave?
I got a lot of weirdos contacting me. I didn't need the money. I was like, I used to just.
I did.
Well, what's puzzling is you're a big freaky dude. Why does you want your underwear? I mean, there's no correlation between your size and shreddedness in your underwear. So, like,
they would be like
fascination with the underwear that you don't even know who wore it.
They would be like, "Hey, I want those trunks from that show you did. How much can I pay for those?" Or, "Hey, that photo shoot with those blue posing trunks. How much for those? Hey, can you work out in those and send them to me all sweaty?" Like those were the thing. I sold a ton of posing trunks and boxer briefs, and I sold a ton. I even at one point I put it on.
For how much?
So the posing trunks I would sell for like $400.
What?
Used tank tops I would sell for like $200
in American dollars.
Yeah, and I actually put it on my website because I got so many requests.
It's like the guys that buy chicks used panties and stuff like that.
No.
Same shit,
Armin. But holy shit,
are
you serious?
Smell.
Yeah.
But so 400 for the post. How much?
What's
the underwear go for?
The same, about $300 or $400, and then I put it on my website eventually. Used clothing, and there was this one guy that wanted to buy old beat up shoes. I guess he had a foot fetish, and so like my old beat up tennis shoes, I would send them to him for like a couple $100 that I was about to throw away. So I had a link on my site. Used clothing. What kind of clothing did you want? You want underwear? You want tank tops? And I had that on there for several years.
So that he can wear it and these guys are jerking off with his clothing,
I mean, some would be pretty gross requests. I mean, of course, some of them were like, "Hey, can you bust in it?" Some of them would be like, "Can you wipe your ass with it?" And it's like, oh, that's so gross.
Funny that you say that, Armand, because the girls who sold their underwear said that's what they would do. They would just wipe their butt with it, and they would just send it off. They weren't even wearing them. They would.
No.
Guys loved it.
Yeah, that was a different. That was a different time. Yeah.
Why?
We know Jimmy the Bull liked sniffing girls' underwear.
Not me.
I got those offers, but they wanted a lot more than just underwear and stuff.
They wanted your underwear.
No, they wanted you to pose naked for them and all kinds of weird shit.
Oh yeah, that's a given. But this fetishy stuff is more weird in my mind because. You can understand people wanting to see someone naked, but when they want to do weird shit like see you crush an apple in your hand, or
one guy he wanted me to crush his head between my legs, and I told him I don't know if I could do that, but I could put your head.
Larry would probably kill the guy, John.
Wait, listen to what Larry.
I told him I could put his head in a door jam and use my feet like a leg press, and I could crush his head like that, and he wanted to do it.
I'd be afraid Larry would kill me, if doing that stuff by accident, because
What if Larry? What if his head literally exploded and his brain squirted out?
I said I'll probably kill you, and he still wanted to do it.
Did you, Mike? Did you have a waiver he could sign it in case?
No, I didn't do it. I mean,
a brainotomy. If
he
you're not
wanted to pay me $5,000 to crush his head.
Oh my!
A lot of them wanted wrestling too. They wanted you to wrestle them and like put them in holds. I didn't get into that stuff because I was afraid, like, I could potentially hurt somebody and get in trouble because I was already in like legal trouble at that age. So they're like, "Oh, well, I have a waiver to sign and all that." So I stayed away from that kind of stuff. But there was this one guy actually that would he would want you to wear boxing gloves. He would wear a football helmet and he would wear like these pads, and he wanted you just kind of like beat him up with your shirt off, like not like full power, but just kind of like rough him up. He was like a big 400-pound fat guy. So he would literally like sit in a chair. You would just keep punching him, and not at full streak, but he would have a football helmet on and like a vest, like a protective vest. And like he wanted you to just have your shirt off and just punch him with boxing gloves. And
the visual. The visual of that is like, are you kidding me? This fat guy in a chair with a football. Picture this. This. A big fat guy in a chair. Does he have a shirt on, or is he?
No, he had his shirt on. I mean, it was so normal. It was so normal at that time. It was like, this is like a normal thing to do.
Are you kidding? This is just
It was fun. It was like, okay, this is funny. Like, but some of them were pretty sadistic, and they were like, "Yeah, I want you to sign this waiver and do X, Y, and Z," and I would just ignore those. It would be, you would get so many offers. It was just unreal, and I don't know why those schmoes, kind of all went away when I guess being gay became more open. So
yeah, there's
I
like that.
So, it kind of looked like that.
Dave, have you heard of any like serious injuries resulting from these, girl schmo wrestling? I never have. I never have heard of any guy getting.
John, I know a story. I'm not going to mention her name. A friend of mine said that she was friends with this guy for years, and one day, and then as she started getting bigger and into bodybuilding bigger, he one day comes over her house, like it was like 8:00 at night. She's like, "What are you doing here?" He's like, "You want to make $100 real fast?" She's like, "How?" He's like, "Can you just punch me in the face?" She's like, "I'm not punching you in the face." He's like, "No, I want you to punch me in the face as hard as you can." So she's like, I can't do that. He's like, "I'm going to give you $100. Here it is right here. Punch me and I'm going to leave." And so
a lot of them want to be degraded.
What?
And he loved it. She broke his nose. And he's like, "I think you broke my nose." She's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'll call." No, he's like, no. He goes, "I got to go." And he probably went into the car and jerked off or something like that.
What? Fucking weird. And you notice it's only the guys that are all fucking weird like this. You never get a girl calling you, say, "Hey,"
I know.
It's never a girl. It's always fucking dudes. There's got to be some kind of toxic element to testosterone that makes us dudes.
You think?
All the fucking sexual weirdos in prison are all dudes. They're not pedophiles, rapists.
Well, you saw John
guys. There's no girls that do this shit.
John, all these
teachers that are having sex with you.
Yeah.
Don't you wish that was you?
It's just acceptable.
No, are you kidding me? Could you imagine being a senior in high school and your teacher wants to?
No, there's one with a 14-year-old.
That it does not count. I'm talking about sexual crime shit, weirdo shit.
John, it's not true.
Deviation. It's all guys. It's all fucking guys.
John,
99.9999%.
There's so many women right now, like attractive women that are having sex with 14-year-olds and 13-year-olds. I'm like, where were these teachers when I was in high school? Like that's like. Like that would have been fun to be a victim at age 14.
I had a math teacher in high school. Are you kidding? Any of us would have dragged our balls over mud and broken glass just to jerk off in her shadow. If she had any one of us, oh my God, we would have freaked. That would have been like a badge of glory. Any one of them would have worn for the rest of their lives.
Every week now, I see a teacher.
I'm talking about the deviant, really weird shit. It's all dudes. You might get a soccer coach here and a softball coach here and there that might be into something weird. But crimes against dudes like this, never, ever, never.
Right.
Speaking of which, Diddy's getting pretty railroaded right now, huh? Take that. What does that mean?
Railroaded? I don't know. Is he railroaded or is he getting
sure.
out?
Well, I don't know, guys. He's in the same place Epstein was. I think I don't know. I saw some pictures of him on Jesse on Fire of his arrest, and to be quite honest with you, the mugshot of him doesn't look like him. I'm not.
Who are we talking about? Diddy?
You saw the Justin Bieber video, right? Where Justin Bieber was in the club. It was like Happy New Year's, and Justin Bieber was like going like that to, I think, Odell Beckham and Trey Songz. Odell Beckham and Trey Songz, and Justin Bieber was like giving them head, and it showed his head like that, and someone popped a phone out and was like Happy New Year's, and he came up like that. You could tell. You could tell Justin.
He was wiping.
But Justin.
Yeah, Justin was wiping cum off his face.
But Justin was groomed. I mean, he was hanging out with Diddy when he was like 12, 13 years old, and he was groomed. So he's a victim. I mean, he was groomed. Yeah.
Yeah.
He wrote a song about the fact that he was ruined by Diddy, didn't he?
Yeah. He lost my life at a Diddy party. Didn't know it's how it goes. Something like, that's the one.
Right.
And then Diddy saw him after that, and he was patting him down for a wire. It looked like he kept touching his chest and going like this, talking to Bieber.
Did you see that reel? And speaking of Pat, did you see the reel with Tyson and Diddy are on a talk show together, and like Tyson keeps having to move Diddy's hand away from his
head?
Totally over. Yeah.
All about
Benjamins. He said, where he goes, it truly is all about the Benjamins, and he slid over.
That's one sick dude.
So supposedly, guys, the reason for all the baby oil, I'm sure everybody's heard now, there were thousands of bottles of baby oil found. Apparently, guys, we know this. Apparently, the baby oil was spiked. It had drugs in it. Now, think about that. If you put DMSO and some GHB and something in baby oil, that would go into your system.
Sure would.
It really would. Sure would.
Yeah.
So those bottles are being tested, and they're going to find out exactly what he was drugging people with. Obviously, there was drinks being spiked, but also transdermally.
A reporter said it was GHB. It was not baby oil.
Really?
I saw a female reporter said.
That would make sense. But what about the 1,000 dildos there? What was that about?
I don't know, but did you see what they look like?
They were on sale. They got them from China. They had to fill up a container, otherwise it wouldn't be free shipping from Temu.
Maybe, Greg, your girlfriend can pick those up and then put them on eBay. You know,
Dave, you and I are always thinking the same. I went to ask Greg, have you guys ever, like, if you and your girl, doing your collections, have you ever found like sex toys, dildos, shit? You have. I knew you would have.
Yeah.
Now, what do you do with those?
They probably use them too, John. Used ones, I'm sure.
I want to know if I'm betting that he brought some of them.
No,
of course he did.
We found some crazy shit.
What's the craziest thing you found, Greg?
Yeah.
What's the craziest thing you found, Greg?
Oh fuck! Lucia, where is she?
You find any body parts ever?
No, never found body parts, but we found like we had it. It was a dead stuffed elephant, little baby elephant. It was stuffed. It was a dead one.
It was real.
Yeah,
like a taxidermist. Like.
How many millions of years in prison would you get to have it for having one of those? An endangered species baby taxidermed in your house used as a footstool. Man, are you fucked if they ever find that.
That's
John, can you imagine on Lucia's eBay account rather? Diddy dildos for sale.
Dude, I would sell them if we found them.
Diddle with Diddy.
I would definitely sell them. We found
dildos for dumbasses.
You should just start selling dildos and say they are Diddy's. No one will know the difference anyway, Greg.
Allegedly. No, you could say allegedly.
That's a good idea, Dave.
Say allegedly. Say allegedly and get away with it.
Allegedly.
Do that. Who was the guy who owned the Stratosphere in Vegas? That dude. He would pick up a cigarette butt and put some lipstick, like with lipstick on it, and he would say this allegedly was smoked by Marilyn Monroe. And
oh my God! What did he do that?
$300. Yeah.
You know what? I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to get some of underwear, and I'm going to say these allegedly were worn by Armand, since he already has a big fan
There
base.
you go.
And I
There
can
you
just
go.
check. Armand, you mind? You can
There you
check.
go. You're
You
buddy
can
of
lie
mine.
and say you were
You know,
roommates
I'll
and you
do all
used
the
to
work. You
rifle
just
the
got to say,
laundry.
yeah, I gave it to Amin.
You know what ruined it when the men's division came out? Those guys would literally have sex with these guys for like $200. And so when all the men's physique guys came out, okay, you're getting a lot less muscle, but a lot of the like I would say innocent, because we weren't sexually involved with these people, but a lot of these men's physique guys were getting railed for like $200, and they were shying away from more bodybuilders, and like, well, I can get 5 physique guys and do everything I want with them, and that took a lot of the money away from the bodybuilders with the regular just straight posing and stuff like that. But like to this day, like probably every few weeks, I still get a request like, hey, do you still do webcam? Do you still do posing? I'm in town and all that kind of stuff. And
Was that the guy, John? Bob Stupek?
Hey, do you know that
so, yeah.
couldn't spit his gum out in the fucking clubhouse because guys in the clubhouse would take it and sell it? That's the truth.
Really?
Yep. It was caught. There were people.
Speaking of baseball, did you see that clip on? It was a reel on Instagram. This guy caught 3 freaking baseballs in the same game.
Wait, come on.
Wow.
Yep, he caught 3 of them. It's a reel. It's going around Instagram. He
That's
caught
amazing.
3. Yeah, and he gave the balls. I think 2 of those away to like some of the fans there. But he caught 3 of them. They said it's unbelievable. No, it never happened.
He gave one away to a little girl?
Yeah.
There's a guy who has a collection. I forgot. You could Google it. He's got thousands and like 10,000 baseballs from going to games that he
Really?
during batting practice, he would catch them. And he caught some big balls from like some very famous hits. He's a New York guy. I think.
Did he get any of his sign grade?
Did you see the guy who caught the 50th home run from Ohtani? He had when he made the 50-50 club, 50 stolen bases, 50 home runs. They offered him $325,000 for the ball he caught. He said no, he didn't, because he thought he would get $1 million for it. Now, Ohtani went on to get more, like 52, or what is he up to? I don't even know what he's up to now. But
I think he's 52 and 52. I think.
The question is, would you sell the ball for $325,000 if you caught it?
Damn right. I'd fucking wipe it on my ass if they wanted to.
Well, yeah, but it could be worth more. Would you hold it or would you sell it?
I don't know.
I'd trade him for a Ferrari F8.
Those damn Pokemon cards are crazy. How much they're worth? I'm like, gosh, when those Pokemon, I regret like, gosh, if you knew like how lucrative those freaking Pokemon cards would go for, because that is insane. How much those rare Pokemon cards go for?
Wow,
unbelievable.
I do not.
That game that he broke the record where we made the 50. It was the single greatest day in baseball of all time. Like he had like something crazy.
Let me tell you something. He hit 54 home runs, and I don't mean to be a Yankee fan, but he's a fucking DH right now. So it doesn't.
Well, but he was a pitcher too.
But Aaron, no, he's not pitching though. You can't go by that.
No, he hurt his arm. He had
center field every game, center field, and he fucking hit 58.
Here it is. Ohtani has 54 home runs, 57 stolen bases. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
thanks, Sid.
He is.
Thank you, Sid.
He is a great player, but he's DHing. Would he be able to do that if he played the field?
What's the difference?
No,
why would that make a difference?
He was pitching and doing those numbers.
You don't even. I know baseball. You're gonna be kidding. Now you're in my fucking neck.
Okay, so explain why a designated hitter.
Since Babe Ruth hasn't been a guy who could pitch and hit at the same time. It's crazy.
Listen, I'm not gonna take anything away from Ohtani, but he hasn't pitched. He's right now. He's a DH. He hasn't pitched. He had fucking.
So what does designated hitter actually mean? What do
you don't play the field? You only hit.
But if he's pitching, how is he not playing the field?
He didn't pitch this season because he hurt his shoulder. He had the Tommy John surgery.
Surgery. He hasn't pitched in a year and a half.
And they have
Yeah.
pitcher only
Hey,
too.
listen, the guy's a fucking generational player. I can't.
He might be the greatest player of all time, Greg. This guy.
I don't know if he's the greatest player of all time. But
Sid, what were the stats, Sid, for that game that he put up where he made it to the 50-50 club? The stats from that game, he was like 6 for 6 or something like that. He had the single greatest stats of any player of all time in that game.
Well, in my opinion, nobody's greater than Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth did it fucking in an era where that was unfucking matched, unheard of. Babe Ruth was a pitcher. They were talking about it yesterday. Babe Ruth went like 6 or 7 years without throwing a baseball as a pitcher, and then decided, you know what, I'm going to pitch, and pitch like a 5-hitter. I mean, it's a guy's like, you couldn't do that. Let me see somebody else without going playing it, without throwing a game in the minors, without throwing another game. Hadn't pitched at all. Nothing. Just ice cold after fucking 6 years of not pitching, and throws a 5-hitter. The guy was just amazing. And he did it when nobody else did, like Wayne Gretzky and people like that did shit when, before Babe Ruth went on those home run tears, the guy in the league, in the major leagues, home run baker.
Babe Ruth pitched against the whack-back plumbers.
What?
Thank you, Sid. That was very
Sid,
appropriate.
Quality of players.
Didn't Wayne Gretzky play hockey?
Dude, Wayne Gretzky was fucking believable. It was like a man playing with children.
He was a hockey player, though, right?
Yeah, but I mean, these guys would break records. When Babe Ruth broke the record, the leader in baseball, the record was Home Run Baker. It was the guy's name, and he used to hit 8 because home runs were considered mistakes. Ty Cobb didn't hit home runs; he only hit base hits. But the guy was amazing. Look, these guys. Ohtani's He's a once in a lifetime kind of player. He's fucking unbelievable player. Ohtani, he is. But
hold on, did you guys? I hope I don't get dinged for this. Did you guys ever see this race? I'm not going to play it because we'll probably get dinged. It's Wayne Gretzky versus Bjorn Borg versus Pele versus Sugar Ray Leonard in a 60-meter dash.
Oh wait. Pele's gonna win.
Look at the dude with his arm in the air across on the other side.
Yeah. He looks like Blackman, that guy.
Who won?
Yeah,
He looks like Pedro.
Gretzky destroyed everyone. He destroyed everyone.
Did?
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
can't you play it?
Pele?
Well, Wayne
Gretzky might have been the youngest guy in the race, though. This was in 1982.
Unbelievable athlete. The guy was like a man playing with children. It was almost like fucking. It was like when Michael Jordan played. You're talking about men, Babe Ruth, men with children. It's not even normal.
I think Pele had a significant age difference, though, than Gretzky.
He's another one. Pele
is another 1 in a billion.
Pele was the first athlete in the 1970s to get $1 million a year to play. Wow. I remember when that happened. I was like, oh my God, he's getting $1 million. Today, you get kids out of high school signing for a couple $1 million bonuses.
When he did that kick backwards, upside down, with his, that was no one ever saw that. That was freaking insane.
Yeah, man.
They did that replay in the movie Victory. Do you remember?
Yep.
That was nice.
That was
where did he come up with it?
Here's the stat I was looking for. Here's the stat I was looking for. In the history of, according to OpStats, no player since 1920 has ever had a 10 RBI, that's 10 runs batted in, a 6-hit day, a 5 extra base hit day, a 3 home run day, and a multi-steal day within their given career in one day. Wow. Ohtani crammed all that into a single Thursday afternoon during a 20-4 thrashing of the Marlins.
Jeez.
Can you imagine that? 10 RBI, 6 for 6. He stole like 3 bases. The guy's insane.
That's insane.
But who did it in 1920?
Sounds like he was playing against Little League.
That's probably when they first started keeping stats in 1920, I'm sure.
I don't know, man. Maybe keeps that shit's been around since the Civil War. You gotta, that's my sport, bro. I love baseball. Ohtani's unbelievable. Judge is right there with him. Judge hits 50 fucking some runs like it's nothing. He hit 58 this year. And you know what's funny? He had a bad year. He didn't even hit a home run his first fucking month in baseball and playing, and they didn't play him the last couple of games.
It's amazing what these guys do. What's so incredible is that the pitchers are so good nowadays too. So it's hard enough to hit the ball, but to hit the ball off these pitchers,
Dude, 100 miles an hour.
My Dave, my first workout partner.
This
Dave,
guy
listen,
says Barry Bonds is better.
Yeah, but Barry's got an asterisk.
I don't think
Yeah,
Barry, these guys, you can't listen. These guys, why? When you talk about Babe Ruth, right? These guys today watch every pitch. You know, they got computers and they watch a pitch. They have, you know, they go back. You know, they got batting cages. They got Babe Ruth will go home, drink a beer, throw a couple farts, fucking eat a hot dog. They was
Yeah, but he wasn't playing against guys who were this good. That's why.
That's
he was pretty fat towards the end.
That's bullshit. Back then, the balls were made. They were.
You think
hands-
Ohtani's taking Trenbolone?
Who? No.
What are we talking about? Ohtani.
Maybe.
No, he's not taking drugs. You guys.
You don't think these guys today are taking drugs? Are we that naive?
Yeah,
No.
sure they are.
You're doing
Yeah,
peptides and
of
You
course
think
they
hit
are.
You think they're all of a sudden hitting these home runs for nothing?
He's
They're
just-
clean. You think these players are clean?
I think they're using a lot of growth hormone.
and other peptides.
Yeah.
Oh,
They
Todd,
can test for growth hormone too.
he meant Judge.
But do they? But do they? That's the question.
Yeah, they do. Now in water, they do.
Of course they do.
No, but do they do it in baseball? Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, they use
They're
water.
random though.
I
You
don't
know,
think they do.
they
They
might
probably
do-
test these guys once a year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
They probably-
they're
They
lying.
would never go near a top
They
guy.
covered up Ohtani's gambling. Yeah, right. Ohtani's the biggest name in sports. You think they're going to out him for using anabolics?
Why do you think Lance Armstrong skated for as long as he did? Because they didn't want to. They don't. You throw him under the bus, you give the whole sport a black eye.
Cash cow. Yeah.
Exactly.
All these football players, they're all using. I mean, there's like my good
be
friend.
350 pounds and run the 40-yard dash in that time.
Their
You know,
testing's lax with football.
I saw a interview with Bo Jackson, and Jackson, everyone wanted to see him run the 40, and he wouldn't do it. And finally, his coach came up to him and said, "Would you run the 40 for these guys so they could time you already?" And he had already played a whole game or something like that. He ran the 40. He had his equipment on. He ran the 40 in. I guess they had people with timers, like with manual timers, and they had an electronic timer. He's like, "Look, if I'm going to run the 40, you got to open up the back doors to the stadium because I'm not going to be able to stop." He's like, and he's like, I had every intention as soon as I ran it to keep going into the locker room. He ran it. Supposedly, one guy got him in 3.9.
What?
One guy got him in 4.0, and then the official timer got him at 4.1. I mean, this was a big man.
Wow.
That's insane.
With equipment. With his equipment.
With
Do
equipment.
you ever see Bo Jackson run where he ran on the wall? He ran across the wall like that.
Yeah, he was insane. He was insane.
He would catch
Very
the
athletic.
and run across the fucking wall. He actually ran like this on the wall.
If he hadn't broken it, if he hadn't got the hip, he needed the hip replacement because he got the injury, he probably would have broke every record in the NFL. I'm sure.
That's my guy.
He played baseball and football both at the same time,
At the
right?
same time.
Professionally. No one else in the world ever did that, right?
And he was good at both. He was banging home runs like crazy in
Sanders
baseball.
did it a little bit. Deion Sanders did it.
Did he?
Yeah, if you remember, Bo Jackson had a hip replacement. His football career was over. He came back and tried to play baseball. And remember, they voted him into the NFL All-Star game. I think it was his first game back. He went into the All-Star game. First at bat, blasts a home run right out of the park with the hip
He
replacement.
used to snap backs like this. Like this.
Yeah,
He would
he was
snap
unbelievable.
like they were nothing.
Wow.
One of the greatest athletes probably of all time.
Oh, I love Bo Jackson.
So
You know who else was like that though? What's his name? Jesus Christ. Walker, Herschel Walker. Herschel Walker.
oh, he was a freak.
Dude, he made the Olympics in the luge. He made the Olympics running. He was supposed to be, remember the 80 Olympics? They fucking when Reagan took Bosch to the Olympics and stuff. And he made the Olympic team. He was going to be a sprinter. He fought MMA, had an undefeated, he was 6-0 in MMA. He's supposed to be one of the best, what's it, Taekwondo. He's a Taekwondo champion. He fights jiu-jitsu. The guy can play pro football, was a fast runner. The guy was an unbelievable athlete. Unbelievable. Could play any sport.
And he also supposedly didn't even lift weights. He was just and he was a freak.
Great girl, but he was
He used to do push-ups with his girlfriend on his back. Seriously. He did. And he ate and his diet was cheeseburgers.
You want to talk about a guy who could run? He could run fast. He could outrun Bo Jackson. He made the Olympic sprinting team. Google it.
Did you say he did luge?
He did the luge.
He did the luge?
In the Olympics.
That is the oddest
that was
thing.
after his career, I think. Yeah.
They came to him and a bunch of guys said to him, "You want to try this?" And he did it. He made the Olympic team.
He was just a natural athlete. Yeah, he was a natural athlete.
Bro, the luge.
You don't see too many black
You guys
people
know what the
do that.
luge is, right? It's a
Yeah.
with no steering.
Yes, you don't see too many black people do that.
You don't see you don't see any humans doing that. I mean, when's the last guy you saw who talked was a loser? I mean, loser, yeah, but no loser. No, I never ever, and I'm in.
I've never met a loser.
I never met a guy or girl who did luge.
John, he made it. Look at the neck on that guy. He made it.
Neck.
Oh, yeah,
dude, guy.
He's a freak. Yeah,
this guy's neck is bigger than Rubio.
Dude, he fought.
You know what the truth is?
No.
I believe if Ronnie Coleman would have taken gear in college football, he probably would have been in the NFL.
Yep,
probably breaking records.
Oh,
yeah, for sure.
But dude, look at that guy.
Ronnie didn't even know about anabolics when he was playing football. All those guys back in his age were taking steroids because it wasn't illegal back then.
Did he drop out from an injury though?
Yeah.
I don't know if he dropped out. That's it. He graduated and it was over.
He had a herniated disc. That's when he had his first herniated disc. Yeah.
I don't think it stopped. I don't think it stopped him from playing.
I think he just. He said it that led him to bodybuilding. He said he couldn't play football anymore.
He did.
Yeah. So that's what he said.
Lee Haney had the same story. Played football, hurt his knees and shit, and his wife signed him up for a teenage Mr. America, and that's how he started. He said
Ronnie was being scouted. I didn't know that by NFL teams before his injury. Okay.
Fuck, Sid knows everything. He's like an encyclopedia.
Yeah.
Sports. Anything sports, ask Sid. He knows every answer.
You know what, though? Think about it. With Ronnie's genetics, and I guarantee you he would have been a nightmare on the football field if he would have kept going, if he didn't get hurt.
And he got that big.
They just had him on. Do you guys watch Shannon Sharp's podcast, Shay Shay? I like that a lot.
Yeah, I saw some clips from it. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, they just had Ronnie on. It wasn't the best interview with Ronnie on there because Ronnie was, a little. But his other interview, I love watching Shay Shay. I mean, he does, especially the Cat Williams interview. That was awesome. And then, he's a really good interviewer.
But could you imagine Ronnie is like a 280-pound running back? I mean,
I know. Well, he wasn't.
I don't think you'd ever got that big.
Ronnie at 240 would have been very formidable, John. I got news for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
with those genetics,
he was.
You get it.
Insane. What was
Can you
that?
imagine getting hit? Or can you imagine Ronnie tackling you at like 240, 250? Oh my God.
Ronnie said he never even been in a fight in his life.
Well, who would fight that guy? He's got 20-inch arms out of the womb.
Well, yeah, right. I mean, he arrests one of my best friends in high school. His older brother I used to run around with. He was a gang member. He arrested Ronnie, and everybody would. He said Ronnie was the nicest guy. Was just like, man, I'm sorry.
He ripped your face off with one hand.
He was just such a nice police officer. That's what I grew up in Arlington. And a few people I knew got arrested or called out. And I always said he was just the nicest, police officer. When a lot of other ones were, dicks.
Yeah, as long as you cooperated with him, no one was. People were too scared to not cooperate. The guy.
It's always the biggest, baddest, most menacing cops that are the nicest. It's the little weaselly guys that are a pain in the ass.
Yeah, always. I mean, it's not like he's going to get on a foot chase with somebody at 200 and whatever. He
probably can still catch him at 280 pounds. I bet you.
Yeah.
Ronnie was an incredible athlete. I'm telling you, this guy is like in another world of his own. He might have had some of the best genetics of any athlete of all time. I mean, think about that. I mean, Ronnie applied himself to bodybuilding, but imagine if he would have applied himself to, any other sport at 100%, like he did bodybuilding. He probably was coasting during playing football. I'm sure he didn't know what to eat. He would eat whatever they served at the meal hall. I'm sure,
That's why he was good at powerlifting.
Speaking of injuries, Dave, like we did the stem cells. So my neck problems, like, if I used to do like a shrug, I couldn't feel the left side contract at all. And then so I really didn't train traps because even if I did, they would still grow, but my neck would would hurt a lot worse because my herniated disc. If I shrug now, I feel it equal on both sides. So that definitely
you feel a regenerative effect from the stem cells.
Yeah, I definitely do in my neck. I do in my neck. I would say about 15-20%. Absolutely.
Yeah. I was just saying the other day to myself, someone was asking me that. I said, I feel really good. It's funny. I started swimming, every night, like at around like midnight, I go jump in my pool. And I just feel like I feel revitalized. I feel more mentally sharp. And I don't know if it has anything to do with the stem cells, but it's the only thing really I've done differently. So
I think it does definitely. I think, doing that prep right afterwards, like I think the stem cell hurt me on that prep because my body was just weird. It sped up and I lost all this fat. I lost so much size. My lats went away, this went away. But we're at what, like 2 or 3 months now since we did the trip, and I feel generally overall better too. My neck feels better, my traps feel better. So I think it's definitely something to go back again to whether it be a year or two or whatever to kind of keep up with. And I definitely feel it in my neck 100% for sure, because I haven't had relief any relief in my neck at all for the past 15 years, and this is the first time I can shrug up and down, and it feels
I love to hear that.
On the same side.
Did they do?
A lot of people have asked me about your spinal injections. I said, I haven't really asked them about it, but if you're saying that you're getting results and you're feeling better, that's great. And if people want to contact Danny over at the Regenimex, you go to the Regenimex website, or you can go to the Regenimex Instagram and tell them that RX Muscle Dave and Armand sent you. They'll give you a nice discount. They got some great stem cell treatments over there. So
yeah, I've been giving out his information a lot because there's this stem cell group I'm a part of, and a lot of people are getting stem cell in the United States thinking they're getting the real actual stem cell, and I'm on there telling them they're not.
There's a lot of people. Actually, John, you were telling me about stem cells that someone was going to get who got them in the United States, and I said, they're not allowed to do them here. I don't know how anyone could.
She got umbilical stem.
You're not supposed to be able to get any stem cells here. They can do exosomes.
That's true, and as Georgie would say, it's a gray area. But I don't know how long this guy's going to stay in business. But she got umbilical stem cells.
So my friend, that's a pain doctor. He used to live here. He's in Montana now. He has a practice. He says they can do it, but they're not supposed to. So if you are doing it on a regular basis, you can potentially get in trouble. But yeah, some of them can do it and kind of fly under the radar.
It's like an off-label use. Doctors can prescribe it for certain off-label uses. But the embryonic stem cells you cannot get.
No,
those you'll go to jail for.
Yeah. No.
Well, the truth is, how does anyone know what you're using? You could get the embryonics and say you're using umbilical ones.
Right, of course.
We flew down to Port of Art. There was a quick flight. It was beautiful there. Everything is nice and cheap in the city there. If you're going to go for stem cells, you might as well go to this place. It's legit. They get great stem cells. You don't have to worry about them being dead or anything like that. They're high quality. I would go there. And they're very reasonably priced too.
There were so many stupid people like in the video. They're like, when I posted where they're like, they're not even pushing anything in the back. I'm like, they clearly are. I'm like, I'm not sure which video you're watching, but
so fucking
they're like he's being scammed. They're not even pushing anything into the back because they had the syringes there and then they had the plunger pulled out and then they were putting it like this. And I'm like, how can you not see they're pushing it in there? And I'm like, I felt that I was sore. I had lumps everywhere, all over my neck and back. And people are just, they got bit. How stupid are they going down there and getting ripped off? Like, I'm like, people are so dumb.
First of all, in the video, I actually showed the stem cells under the microscope, just to prove that there was stem cells in there. And then we had bags of them that were being put into.
Well, some people were saying like, "Oh, they're not even moving. These are dead cells. They don't even know what they're looking at." It's like I had so many
morons. Jesus.
I had so many stupid, comments like, from that, and this is a well established one.
Yeah, stem cells are undifferentiated cells, so they're nothing. They're just potential. That's what they are.
Right,
and they can turn
into
stuff.
You guys see that X39, that multi-level marketing, the stem cell patch they're selling? You guys see that?
God.
Yeah, people are. It's a stem cell patch. People are falling for it. It's a multi-level marketing. They reached out to me to try to get me to like promote it and give me some patches for free and all this stuff. I'm like, there's no stem cell patch you can put on an injury and work. That's a placebo effect. That's ridiculous. But they're selling a shitload. They're selling a shitload of this stuff. Like if you Google X39, like it's a multi-level marketing thing. I'm like, first of all, anything multi-level marketing is most of the time, a bullshit. Yeah. And so people are really, I'm sure they got a lot of bots they're paying to promote this and all that. But I'm like, people are crazy. If you think you can get a patch with stem cell in it, put on your freaking shoulder.
I've seen a lot of patch stuff. People would say patches that help you sleep at night, patches that help keep you focused, patches that regenerate your organ.
Patches
they got a patch for everything now. And a lot of these patches don't even have, they say they have light energy in them. Have you seen these ones? Which it's supposed to like.
There's all kinds of stuff.
Leftover hippie from the 60s is behind that. You can tell. Jesus Christ. It's unbelievable. You know what? What's selling like hotcakes now? Talking about scams, this cologne called Cupid that's supposed to have pheromones.
Oh, the pheromones. Yeah.
So they got this guy going up to all these hot girls, and he goes, "Who smells? Oh, I'd blow you right now."
Oh, yeah.
And it's selling off the shelves because
I saw that ad. Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's been around forever too. It's like buy this, and girls they used to sell in the back of the Muscle magazine. This scent will attract women. It's like.
Well, how about Spanish Fly? Remember that shit?
How
many of you guys bought that?
I remember that.
Remember the Spanish
You got to slip it to the ground. Nothing fucking happens.
That's because men are pathetic.
They're pathetic.
Absolutely. I need to get that down. Imagine a book. You read a book. What about the book? How to Pick Up Chicks?
You got to remember though. Back then there was no Cialis and Viagra back then. So
How to Pick Up Girls.
That shit.
That Cupid stuff.
That's got
pheromones. Got a bunch of goofballs buying that.
The particles. That one is the one that they.
And look how much it costs.
It's $23
for $23. You can get some girl that would never talk to you go home with you in the same night.
Right? Yeah, that's possible. Sure. Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah.
But like Greg just said, how fucking pathetic that even if the guy, I'm sure everybody's buying that knows that there's a 99.999% chance this shit's not going to work, right? But for that 1/1,000,000th of a percent chance that it could happen, they're willing to do it.
It's
like probably slapping that shit on everywhere too.
Yeah, Dumb and Dumber. She's like, you got no chance at me. He goes, no, not even like a 0.0001%. She's like, all right, maybe you have 0.110%. He's like, yes,
I got a chance.
That movie's awesome. That's a classic. That's a movie. Hey,
the funniest scene in that whole movie was him using the bathroom downstairs. Remember when he got the
yeah, that was hilarious. I remember dying laughing the first.
The bathroom's broken.
Yeah, I don't know if I told you guys the story, but they were interviewing what's his name, Jeff Daniels, and there it is. And Clint Eastwood came up to him at a party, and he's like, "Holy shit, it's Clint Eastwood!" And he's like, "Jeff Daniels, right?" And Jeff's like, "Holy shit, Clint Eastwood knows who I am." He goes, "Yes, yeah." He goes, "I love the movie Dumb and Dumber." He goes, "I love this." I love the scene when you're on the toilet, and Jeff's like, "Oh yeah, you think it was funny?" He goes, "Happened to me." And he walked away and didn't say another word to him. That was it. He goes, "That was my soul encounter with Clint Eastwood."
That's insane.
That's always your worst. Like when you're dating, like the worst thing you have to like take a shit the first date, like
And then the
hanging out
toilet's
with
broken
girls
and it won't
plays.
flush.
No, you know what's the worst? The first time you go away with the girl and you're in a hotel room, and the hotel room's like in New York. It's like 12 by 4, you know, and you got to take a nasty dump.
I would always find an exit plan, a bathroom close or something
what
like
would you
that.
do? Hold on,
you got to
Greg's the
go
expert in this
downstairs.
area.
I mean, there's
What
no.
would Greg do?
Yeah.
What do you mean? What would I do?
What would you do if you have to take a dump? It's on a first date and you're in a hotel room with some girl.
I usually don't even make it to the hotel room. I'll shit. When I'm in the car, I'll fucking jump outside the run around the back. I got to check the tires. You know what I mean?
You talk to girls, like so many girls I dated, like we talked about when we were first dating. They're like, oh my gosh, they tell me like I had to hold in so many farts, you know, when when the girls are dealing with the same shit. I mean, they have gas and they go out to eat whatever they eat, whatever.
Fart.
Or they let,
Greg, Greg doesn't want the he doesn't want the Cupid's stuff. He wants the girl to fart on him. That's his turn on.
Greg would tell him right now, you got to fart, you just go ahead and let it out, especially if we're in the car with all the windows shut. That's what I want you to do.
Grande fart in a jar. I'd buy that shit.
What turns you on about a fart in the face?
It comes out of Ariana Grande. I can.
It's the anal exit.
There's no way her fart stinks. I can imagine you open up that jar that she farted in, and it's like
every fart stinks.
Chocolate chips. Fresh baked cookies. Look at my God.
Armand, it's the same thing about the guys who wipe the girls who wipe their ass with the underwear and send it out.
Oh my God.
You don't picture a hot. You don't like Johnny Depp was a lucky motherfucker because I would kill to have Amber Heard shit on my pillow. I swear I would have slept with it like this right next to it.
Hey, Greg, there's still a chance.
She's better chance
than Jim Carrey.
A chance.
Yes.
I have a little teeny. Let me get Amber Heard when she was young with Johnny Depp. She was fucking hot. Now she's getting a little bit. But let me tell you something.
She doesn't look good anymore.
No, I don't know what she did.
Yeah, age tends to do that to women.
On my pillow any day of the week when she looked like that. I would have fucking kissing the little turd. Oh, Amber, thank you.
You know what hound dog shit smells like?
I don't know what you guys are talking about. Girls' locker rooms were some of the nastiest locker rooms.
They're filthy in the bathroom. They're filthy.
The girls are way worse than the guys.
I know. You know what's funny? I used to work when I was a kid at high school. After I worked in a little, during the day I would work in an A&P, and at night I would work in a strip club. But when I would work, not A&P, it was Shopwell, and I would see in a woman's bathroom they'd have fucking turds like this big. I would be like,
oh yeah.
Shit.
I was bouncing in this club in Marina Del Rey, and we at the end of the night we used to have to go through and look through all the rooms and make sure there was nobody hiding anywhere.
Right.
And went into the women's bathroom one. There was a log. They left it in the weird thing was there was no toilet paper. So she must have been so proud of this thing that she went to the next stall to wipe because it was so long. It was half sticking out of the water. It was like this. It was like 12 inches long.
John
fucking left it in there so we'd find it.
There's a Gold's Gym. In Gold's Gym in Venice. Upstairs where the locker rooms are, there was a fucking turd that was this big and about this fat. And I went
in the girls' room?
In the men's room.
Well, I'm talking about the girls' room. This was in the women's bathroom.
I told what's his name, Ken Kuhn, at the front desk, and Ken Kuhn goes, "We went over to a lot of gay guys and their assholes fucking open up big." I swear to God, he told me that, and I actually was stupid back then, and I believed that. Like, holy shit, some gay dude. They look at Robbie Robinson's arm get out of the fucking toilet bowl. It was huge.
So
like stripper girls, they take a shit like once a week, and we all probably so that shit cooks in their stomach forever. So when that log comes out, that smells like a demon, and it's like this long.
What's the science of strippers only going once a week?
Well, they don't hardly eat. The regular stripper. Most women.
Yeah, man. Most women
girls do that.
Once a week.
I get all the women I know on Fiberlize. They go to the bathroom regularly now.
No, they don't. My wife takes Fiberlize, and when she's PMS, and she doesn't shit for like 4 days.
Dude,
a lot of.
fiberless.
A lot of women.
I would take one of her turds right in the fucking bottle, man.
Remember that scene from South Park where Kyle's father, like, nursed this big turd for, like, he was looking at it at ultrasound and everything to make sure it was growing right. And when he let it out on a it was on a TV show, he let it out and he rises up off the toilet and actually spins around once.
Well, so many girls hardly eat though. I mean, you'll talk to girls and they eat like once a day, or like, oh, what'd you have to eat today? Oh, I had some crackers. Like they don't eat, so they don't have anything to shit out. So when they do, it's
plus when their hormones start going wacko every month, they stop shitting regularly.
Yeah.
Wait, I would treat Amber Heard's turd the way Larry treated that rice cake he was eating on the. I would be like, oh, look at this.
Greg, how many times have you eaten a log, a turd?
I've never eaten shit. I've been eating.
Come on, bullshit.
Oh, you
Come on, Greg. You're lying.
You definitely ate the corn out of a log. I guarantee you that.
You had a log. You've had a little piece of a log.
By the way, before we wrap up the show, Jimmy the Bull is conceively on his deathbed once again. So we got to send out some prayers to him.
What's wrong this time?
I gotta call him.
Well, he said, if I don't talk to you, he sent me some, flat earth thing. And then said, if I don't talk to you, I'll see it in the afterlife or something like that. I'm like, what's wrong now? I don't know. He says his legs are all swollen again. I said, I thought you were cleared with the echocardiogram. You told us you were fine. He said, nah, I don't know. He's hemming and hawing. I don't know if he's really sick or not.
Does he have heart failure, you think?
He thinks he's in heart failure, but he sits in that truck all day long.
In his food. Too much sodium in his food, probably.
I don't know. So he's not giving me any information on what's going on. So
I thought he just said he was doing good.
That was the last. He said he got an echo. I said, how could your echocardiogram come back normal, and then you're telling me you're in heart failure? So I don't know if I think he's making it up is what he's doing probably, but he's getting a lot of fluid and retention in his legs, I guess.
But you know what happens? He gets lonely, all right? And he knows he goes to the VA, they're going to pay attention to him, and he gets care. And that one nurse he likes who talks to him,
Right.
And so, I mean, he may very well have legit symptoms, but they could be psychosomatic in origin because he's lonely.
He eats hot dogs and sits down a lot.
Yes.
Well, they were saying this from driving, cuts up the circulation in his legs a lot of times.
Just sit down on those hot dogs, if you know what I mean.
And he's getting kind of overweight,
chubby.
Yeah, and I think that's compounding the problem because it's cutting his circulation off.
You think? But hold on. Do you think he's really getting heavy, or is he holding a lot
fluid? I saw him.
Both.
He did some video. He looks. Do you remember him in Alabama? He couldn't keep up with us. He could barely walk.
Maybe he's in congestive heart failure though.
I'm starting to worry about him.
I got to talk to Jimmy. I'll call him.
Yeah.
So going back to that interview with Ronnie, they asked Ronnie about Chad Nichols, and Ronnie was saying, "Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Chad. I talked to him, and Chad's supposedly really bad health, and he says he might die soon and all that." I'm like, what? Like,
oh really?
I don't know if you guys heard, but Ronnie just said that on the Club Shay Shay, and he was like, yeah,
Dave,
I don't know. I mean, I know he had some health issues.
Something wrong with him, but I don't remember what it was exactly.
It was a spider bite he dealt with that it made him sick for like a couple years. But that was like a few years ago. But Ronnie's like, yeah, Chad's not doing so well. Like I've been talking to him. He says, I don't know if I'm going to make it, Ronnie, and he's been really sick lately. So I haven't heard anything about him.
He's been sick for a long time. Remember, he got bit by the recluse spider.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying about. That was like 2 years ago.
Is that what's causing it?
No.
Last year at the Olympia, he was in a wheelchair.
Was he?
He was?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, Kim was pushing him around.
Do you think it's a cold?
The spider bite.
He got bit by a recluse spider, and it
was called as an organ failure.
Really messed him up.
Yeah. But Ronnie was just like nonchalantly, like, yeah,
we send our prayers out to him, obviously, and healing energy because he's a good guy.
He's a real
And
good guy.
same to Jimmy the Bull. Jimmy, we love you. Get better. Hopefully, we'll get you back next week. We are out of time. Next week will be our pre-Olympia show. It'll be the last show before the Olympia.
Oh, I can't.
And what'd you say, Greg? You going out to the Olympia?
I can't wait to the pre-Olympia show. I wish.
Well,
next week.
it just means it's a show before the Olympia. It doesn't mean we're going to talk about it.
And Dave, I'm glad you previewed that, because now it gives Greg an entire week and a day, all right, to figure out what the Olympia is, where it is,
Who's competing,
who's going to be in it, and maybe pick a top 1, 2, or 3 guy.
Yeah,
You know,
there you go.
So rather than say, I don't know nothing about bodybuilding, you got a week to learn. So
Greg, do some research.
Greg,
Do some research.
Greg, for an industry that made you like a good living your whole life, like how can you hate bodybuilding that much?
I don't hate bodybuilding. I love bodybuilding. I just
No, you don't.
But
He only loves bodybuilding pre-1990s. That's
Right.
all.
I can't. I lost it for it. But
So even though they invented the classic physique class just for guys like him who are complaining about the 90s, it still sucks. So I don't know how you can look at C-Bum or Wesley and say that those guys don't do it for you, man.
Those guys look amazing.
They're
Those guys look
incredible.
freaking
They're
amazing.
incredible.
Those are guys. I mean, I know they're not like insanely huge, but they have insane physiques
for days. They look like human.
Yeah, fibers. Because all the open guys, all their shoulders are all oiled up and smooth, but the classic guys, they have striations
Wesley
everywhere.
looks nuts right now.
Save it for next week. We'll talk about classic physique next week. I'm going to wrap it up now because I got to do some stuff. Thank you for joining us live on this Monday Madness at After Hours. We'll see you next week.
all right, guys.
Peace out, guys.
Yes.